Okay, my heart's good. Do you like my pink suit?
It's
beautiful.
Isn't it cute?
Super cute.
Right? Aren't I so sophisticated now? Yes.
They're always gorgeous.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Idiot Podcast. Clap. Thank you. Y'all, I am so excited to be here with my dear friend, Dr. Daniel Amen. Do you remember when I thought it was Amen? And I would call you that. I called you that for like 7 months, and you're like, learn my fucking name.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, you didn't say fuck. He didn't say fuck.
Thought it,
You.
but didn't say it.
But then I learned it. But Dr. Amen is amazing. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's literally helped millions of people around the world improve their brains and their health and their lives. You have 12 New York Times bestselling books. That's excessive. Like, was 10 not enough? You just had to keep going. Okay. And he believes that we can end mental illness, right?
By creating a revolution in brain health.
Him and I are going to do this together. Just the two of us. What do we need to get started?
You need to love your brain.
Okay.
And then take care of it. And then take care of the brains of your children and model the message.
But model the message.
Model the message.
But how do we take care of our brains?
So 3 things.
Ooh, just 3. I can do that.
Love your brain.
Okay.
Right? Nobody loves their brain because you can't see it. You can see the wrinkles in your skin or the fat around your belly, and you do something when you're unhappy with it. But most people never look at their brains, and so they have no relationship.
So should I take my brain out on a date?
You should develop this concept called brain envy.
Okay.
I always say Freud was wrong. Penis envy is not the cause of anybody's problem. I've not seen it once in 40 years.
Okay.
It's brain envy. Love your brain. So that's the first one.
How?
Because it makes you who you are. It is involved in how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you get along with other people. It's the organ of intelligence, character, and every decision you make. And when it works right, you work right. And when it doesn't, there's all sorts of trouble.
So love your brain. Practice
your brain.
loving your brain. Affirm it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start adding that to my daily affirmations.
Yeah.
I love my brain.
Love your brain, love your life. The second thing is avoid anything that hurts your brain. And you just have to sort of know the list.
Yeah.
When my daughter was in 2nd grade, I went to her classroom and I wrote 20 things on the board. And I'm like, separate them for me. Good for your brain or bad for it.
Yeah.
And they got 19 out of 20 right.
And these are 2nd graders.
2nd graders. And the only thing they missed was orange juice.
Yeah.
Which they put in the good category when it belongs in the bad category because it's too much sugar.
Even like 1 glass here and there.
Well, you get the sugar from 4 oranges. And whenever you unwrap fructose, fruit sugar, from its fiber source, it actually can turn toxic in your body.
Really?
So less is better. And orange is awesome.
Yeah.
Orange juice, not so much.
Yeah. No, I've heard that. And then, but okay, so like 2nd graders get it. And then you have all these adults that are...
Don't get it.
Right.
Right? Alcohol's a health food. No, that's a lie. Marijuana is innocuous. No, that's a lie.
Marijuana. What does it do to your brain?
It decreases blood flow to your brain. I published a study on 1,000 pot smokers. Every area of their brain was lower in blood flow. It's not innocuous.
Okay. Stop smoking weed, everyone. I think they're gonna stop. 3rd thing?
Every day, engage in regular brain healthy habits.
Oh, okay.
So-
Give me some. Let me guess. Pickleball. Racket sports?
Pickleball is one of the best because people who play racket sports live longer than everybody else because it works a part of the brain called the cerebellum, back bottom part of the brain. It's 10% of the brain's volume, but has half the brain's neurons. And coordination exercises activate it, which then turn on the rest of your brain. So tennis, table tennis, pickleball,
Ping pong?
squash. Ping pong's awesome.
Okay. What else activates your brain?
New learning. So whenever you learn something new, your
Right.
brain makes a new connection. When people retire and they don't engage in new habits, their brain starts to disconnect itself. So new learning is absolutely essential. And then diet, what you eat. Your brain is 2% of your body's weight, but uses 20 to 30% of the calories you consume. So when you're feeding the children, like almost a third of it goes to nourish their brain. And if you give them a fast food diet, they're more likely to have a fast food mind.
Whoa. Okay. So just those three things.
Yes, because everything else is encompassed in those three, right? Good for your brain or bad for it. Not sleeping is clearly bad.
Yeah,
For
like
your
what are some
brain.
things that are bad for your brain that people don't realize are bad for their brain?
So I have a mnemonic I use called Bright Minds. I'm going to keep your brain healthy or rescue it. You have to prevent or treat these 11 risk factors. And Bright Minds, the B is blood flow. Anything that lowers blood flow to the brain, caffeine, nicotine, being sedentary, having high blood pressure, having erectile dysfunction is bad for the brain because if you have blood flow problems anywhere, it means they're everywhere. And so for each of these, okay, how do you know if you have it? And what do you do for it? So exercise, but eating beets, cayenne pepper, oregano, cinnamon, increase
Okay.
blood flow. The R is retirement and aging. When you stop learning, your brain starts dying. So making new learning part of everything you do is important. I is inflammation, a major cause of psychiatric problems. Where does inflammation come from? Processed food diets, gum disease. Like, who would have thought that taking care of your mouth is actually taking care of your brain?
Yeah.
And if you have gut health issues, if you have this thing we call leaky gut, you end up with inflammation in your body, more likely to be depressed. Or you have low levels of omega-3 fatty acids. The G is genetics. And we think about this wrong. Most people go, oh, I'm overweight because my family's overweight. Or I'm depressed because my family's depressed. Or I adopted my 2 nieces. I'm an addict because it runs in my family. It's like, no, that's why you should not be an addict because it runs in
Whoa.
your family. So I've told both of them, I'm like, if you drink or use drugs, you're more likely to have this steal your life.
When did you have that conversation? How old were they?
They were 9 and 14,
Okay.
early.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I caught one of my nieces vaping, I grounded her for 6 months.
Get out of here.
Oh no. I was furious. I'm like, I am taking care of you. I am giving you love and a place to stay. I'm only doing that if we're on this program together. Right?
I love that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's still bitter.
She's still mad?
No, she's
It's like
freshman at UCLA and she's doing great.
Yeah.
Right? But if you have the vulnerability in your family, it's just too risky, right? Sort of like playing Russian roulette. So genes are not a death sentence.
Okay.
What they should be is a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Like, I have obesity and heart disease in my family, but I'm not overweight and I don't have heart disease because I'm on obesity heart disease prevention program. every day of my life.
Wow. Yeah.
If you have depression or you have addiction in your family, you should be on a depression or addiction prevention program every day of your life.
So then let's talk about that, because overwhelming questions from my fans were about like, how do I treat my depression or anxiety without medication? Not that there's anything wrong with medication, but sometimes people want to see what they can do naturally to better those symptoms.
So head to head against antidepressants, saffron has been shown to be equally effective. And head to head against antidepressants, walking like you're late for 45 minutes, 4 times a week, equally effective.
You told me that, and I literally, Dr. Eamon, I walk my neighborhood and I walk like I'm late, but I take it to the next level and I'm like, oh shit, oh god damn it, oh god, and I get like, I really commit to the late to nowhere thing.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. My neighbors think I'm insane. Okay, sorry, continue.
I love that. Head to head against antidepressants, omega-3 fatty acids have been shown to be equally effective. And one study more effective. Head to head against antidepressants, learning how to not believe every stupid thing you think. You and I have talked about killing the ants.
Yes.
The automatic negative thoughts that steal your happiness.
Yeah.
And so, if you walk like you're late, take saffron, omega-3 fatty acids, and learn how to not believe every stupid thing you think, that's the natural way to treat anxiety and depression. And for anxiety, add the 15-second breath, which is when you're really anxious. You want to break a panic attack in under 2 minutes?
Yes.
4 seconds in, hold it for a second and a half. 8 seconds out, slow out, hold it out for a second and a half. Do that 8 times, you won't feel anxious. But you have to practice it.
Yeah.
It's so helpful.
It actually really is. I love breathing exercises, but it's funny because yesterday morning I had a little panic attack, and which I don't get often anymore, but I had one yesterday morning, and my instinct, I was like, take deep breaths, take deep breaths, take deep breaths, but I didn't. Then I threw on some YouTube affirmations. It was like a affirmation meditation, and I just started repeating that. That started helping, and eventually it did pass, but the deep breathing is so effective. Do you think that, because this last week I've been just really off mentally, and PMDD or PMS, like how real is that and what can we do about that? Because I feel like that's what's happening. I'm about to get my period. I hope I don't get it on the show.
We can deal with it. I have 5 sisters and 5 daughters. God hates me. So, PMS, is it a real thing? Yeah, and it's dangerous for some people.
I'm telling you.
So I was
Unhinged.
treating this teenage girl, and on the weekend, I'm at a place, a Marine World. It's like SeaWorld, San Diego, but this is in Northern California. And I had a call from the mother of one of my patients.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I just attacked my husband with a knife. What should I do? And I'm like, you should see me later today. So when I got home, I went to the office and saw her. This had happened on 3 separate occasions. She had left him 3 times, but it was all right before she started her cycle. And I scanned her the next day, brains like crazy, busy in the worry part, but sleepy in the judgment part. And then I scanned her 11 days later and was normal.
Oh,
So it's totally hormone changes can change your brain, and sometimes it's dangerous for people.
Well, clearly, and I'll hide the knives for the next few days. But because and for me, I feel, because some people have very subtle PMS, or PMDD is like this more severe, and that's what I feel like I have had the past week or so, of just anxious, and then honestly just no motivation whatsoever. I'm not experiencing joy in things that normally would bring me joy. Sometimes even like suicidal thoughts, but not, I wouldn't act on them, but the fantasy of it creeps in. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I look and it's like, oh, my period's due any day. When I understand what it is, it's sort of, I apply what you say too, of like, don't believe every stupid thought you have. It's just wild because you think that you're better in your level and then something like this happens. And then also like this past year for me going through a divorce, I would say like, is it normal to dissociate when you're going through something traumatic?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel like that I've been doing that maybe a bit this past year of like, I have to take care of my kids. I have to pay my bills. Like, I don't have time to like fully process the trauma of what's going on, you know? So you just kind of go on autopilot a bit, but it's scary, you know, sometimes.
Well, and that's the time to make sure you are processing it with someone. So, one, you don't repeat, you know, like the next relationship's not a repeat of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you manage it. And so having somebody to help you do that is important.
Yeah, interesting.
So you can hear yourself say the things you're thinking and go, oh, is that helpful?
Yes.
Right? Because ultimately you want to be a good parent for yourself. And as much as you love the kids, you're firm and kind at the same time. But when your mind just goes, you can be wicked to yourself.
Why do our minds tell us the most effed up stories ever?
Because we don't take time to discipline them. You know, I was 28 years old in my psychiatric residency when I heard one of my professors say, you have to teach your patients not to believe every stupid thing they think. Yeah. And I'm like, but I believe every stupid thing I think. Right? There's no place in our educational system where we teach people to discipline our minds.
Or to question what's being thought of and said.
Right? Your brain, especially your brain, is a sneaky organ. Right? All of us have weird, crazy, stupid, sexual, violent thoughts that nobody should ever hear. And so having good frontal lobes protects them from getting out. But then just evaluating, do I really believe that? Is it true? Is it helpful for me?
I love that too. You had told me about just asking yourself, is the thought true? Do I absolutely know that this thought is true? How does the thought make me feel? And who would I be without that thought?
And then take the original thought and turn it to the opposite. That's the thing that blows my mind often. It's like the opposite of the thought I'm believing is in fact true.
So I'm not enough. It's like how many people wrestle
that's
with
like
that.
The mother thought, right? The mother thought of low self-esteem.
Why? Why is that?
Which, you know, some of those famous people in the world who I've seen, they all have that thought, I'm not enough. Like, dude, if you're not enough, who's ever going to be enough?
Right.
Right?
But
and so you
true.
flip it to I am enough. Then you go, well, I am enough.
Yeah.
As a mother or as a friend, as a daughter, as a businesswoman, as a performer. I am enough.
I am enough. Yeah.
And that's what you meditate on. So you actually take the original thought, flip it, and now meditate on the flip.
It's definitely a practice. I've told you years ago, before I got sober, I'll have 12 years sober in October 29th. Thank you. Isn't that crazy?
It's awesome.
I know. It's very exciting. But pre-sobriety, I would be writing in my journal and I would write every stupid thought I had just to really solidify it. It was like, I'm not smart. I'm worthless. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve, I'm actually writing it down. I'm looking at this old journal with wine stains on it and dried tears. But then when I got sober and all of a sudden I could feel all the feelings. And I was like, hold on. I don't think life is meant to be just this perpetual state of anxiety and depression and fear. Like, I think life is meant to be more than that. Let me figure this out, And one of the things I did was affirmations and just not believing the thoughts and just retraining my brain to have new ones. Like, I know you say every morning you wake up and you say, today is going to be a good day. You affirm that every morning, and then that starts to manifest, right? So talk a little bit more about that.
Well, where you bring your attention
Yes.
always determines how you feel.
Right.
And so if I bring my attention to what's wrong in the world, like so many people going, this is the worst time that's ever been in history, from the politics to the societal unrest to potential of nuclear war. I'm like, dude, you didn't grow up in the 50s. When I had to go to kindergarten, I was under my desk because we had an air raid drill thinking the Soviets were going to nuke us.
Wow.
Or, I grew up in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s. The 60s were a shit show. We had assassinations, we had the Vietnam War, we had demonstrations, we had riots here in LA near where I grew up. It's always a shit show. It's where you bring your focus determines how you feel. And when I go, today is going to be a great day, then I'm like, well, what am I looking forward to today? I get to hang out with you. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
And when I go to bed at night, I go, what went well today? So I'm training my mind to look for what's right, not just for what's wrong. If I just look for what was wrong, I would find it and feel bad. If I look for what's right, I can find it and feel good. Plus, when you do it at night, it sets your dreams up to be more positive. And I've done this for a decade.
Yeah.
And about 3.5 years ago, my dad died. The worst day of my life. And lots of terrible things happened. It was traumatic. And when I went to bed that night, because it's my habit, right? The brain is very lazy. The brain does what you teach it to do, right? And it takes the same amount of energy to do good things as it does to do bad things.
Yeah.
The same amount of energy. So that night he died, I went to bed and I said a prayer, and then I go, what went well today? And the supervisor part of me goes, really? We're doing that today? But because it's my habit, my mind immediately went to an interaction between my mother and the police officer. And it was just hysterical. The police officer, and I've been doing a training program with the Newport Beach Police, so I knew him. And he said, Mrs. Amen, I'm so sorry, but because someone died at home, we have to do an investigation. And she looks at him and goes, do you think I killed him? Do you think I have someone on the side and we just offed it? And I'm just like, mother, how could you do that? And then I thought about all the people who texted me that day when they found out about my dad. So lots of love. And then I remember holding his hand. It was so soft before they took him away. And then I went to sleep. And it didn't mean I wasn't sad. I was. It didn't mean I didn't grieve. I did. I still do. But when you discipline your mind, even when it's awful, it'll work with you.
I love that. I'm definitely PMSing. Okay. Wow. Because I would say the majority of people lay into bed and say, what went wrong? You know? Yeah.
Right, because they have no discipline.
Right.
And they have no strategy on how to manage it.
Or it's not that they don't have discipline, they're just unaware, maybe. Right?
They've not been taught.
Because we need to start this brain health revolution. Well, you've already started it. I mean, you literally have been doing this for how long?
A long time.
Yeah, it's started. Okay, it's started. But those little tips are so freaking helpful. They're life-changing. Just what went right.
And do it with the kids. Like when you have breakfast with them in the morning, go, so is today going to be a great day? So I do. So at night, so I'll put Puppy to bed, and then Alfie and I push him on the swing for 20 minutes, and he loves it, and it just really calms him, the repetition. And we do, I'm happy and grateful for, and I push him, and we say
Poppy. I'm happy and grateful for mommy. I'm happy and grateful for almond butter gluten-free toast. Whatever it is. That's a ritual for us, and it's so fun, and I love it because it gets me grateful. So I'm sneaking in that. But I suppose what went right is different than a general gratitude list. The general daily gratitude, would you say, is also important?
So helpful.
Yeah, but I like the kind of daily download of what went right today.
Like a treasure hunt. Think of it like a treasure
That's
hunt.
fun.
Because, like, as a mom and a businesswoman, you're busy. And so even though really good things happen, you don't really meditate on them or focus.
No.
They just sort of go away. But when you do this at the end of the day, you're like, whoa.
Oh, I actually did that, and I did that.
And even looking for the micro moments of happiness. What's the smallest thing, whether it's a butterfly or a hummingbird, or I saw 2 dolphins this morning. It's like, yeah, I love that.
I love that. Yeah, that's
or
beautiful.
I make brain healthy hot chocolate every night for my family.
Let's talk about that. What's in that?
So unsweetened vanilla almond milk, organic, unsweetened vanilla almond milk. Costco has it. Raw cacao, organic raw cacao.
Like the powder?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Put it in a blender, put a little bit of chocolate stevia. Sweet Leaf makes liquid chocolate stevia that I love, no financial interest. And put it in a blender. It's like 60 calories. Tastes great. I love it.
Yeah.
And it loves me back. And I want you to always think about that with food.
Okay.
Do you love it? Like, we have been in bad relationships in the past. I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm damn sure not doing it with food. I am only going to love food that loves me back. And so that brain healthy hot chocolate loves me back, and I love it.
But I see why loving your brain and loving yourself is so essential, because if you don't love your brain and yourself, what do you care what you put in your body, right?
Right.
So eat food that you love, that loves you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good to play a game with the kids. Chloe's my 20-year-old. And when she was 2, we used to play this game. We called it Chloe's game. This is good for your brain or bad for it. So if I would say avocado, she'd go 2 thumbs up. God's butter. If I said blueberries, she'd put her hands on her hips and go, are they organic? Because non-organic blueberries hold more pesticides than almost any other fruit.
Wow.
And then I'm like, of course they're organic. She goes, 2 thumbs up. God's candy. I said, hitting a soccer ball with your head. Oh, very bad. Brain is soft, skull is hard. Or talking back to your redheaded mother. Oh, not good for your brain at all.
Wow.
So I'm playing the game with the kids, just getting them to understand your brain controls everything you do, and when it works right, you work right, and when it doesn't, you don't. And then they're much more likely to eat better, much more likely to want to do things that help.
Don't worry, be happy. You hate that song, don't you?
Well, it's a prescription for unhappiness.
You hate the song.
I love the song.
You
hate the concept.
No, wait, who sang that song?
Bobby McFerrin.
Do you know how pissed he is at you, I bet? Because you're just shit-talking that song all day long. Wait, let's talk about why you hate Bobby. No, you don't.
Love Bobby. Hate the song.
Okay. Why do you hate the song, Don't Worry, Be Happy?
Because it's a prescription to die early. So they actually did a study at Stanford where in 1921 they looked at 1,543 10-year-old children. And then they followed them for 90 years looking at what goes with success, health, and longevity. And the Don't Worry, Be Happy people died the earliest from accidents and preventable illnesses. The number one positive factor that went with longevity is conscientiousness. If you said you were going to show up, and you show up consistently, predictably, repeatedly, you live longer. than everyone else.
Wow.
And you were 5 minutes early today.
I was actually 30 minutes early and I got a smoothie.
That
I'm
it's
gonna live so long.
conscientious, right? You say you're going to do something,
Yes.
and you do it.
Yes.
And we all know people who are not conscientious, right? They don't seem to respect your time, and it's because their
Yeah.
frontal lobes are sleepy.
Whoa. Their frontal lobes are sleepy.
So you never want to hit a soccer ball with your head, because you never want to damage the front part of your brain, which is largest in humans than any other animal by far. 30% of the human brain, prefrontal cortex, 11% of the chimpanzee brain, 7% of your dog's brain, unless your dog's a bulldog, and that it's only 6%. I had a bulldog once. 3% of the cat's brain.
This podcast is sponsored by AG1, y'all. AG1 is an amazing green supplement. I take it every single morning. It's packed with 75 different vitamins, minerals, whole source food ingredients. Y'all, it's completely vegan. It helps with gut health, energy, hair, nails, strengthens your immune system. It's all your vitamins and minerals all in one drink. You just take a scoop, put it in the cup, mix it around, squeeze a little lemon in there. I like to, and it tastes so good. If you order it through me, just go to drinkag1.com/idiot. Again, that's drinkag1.com/idiot, and you can get a year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. Y'all, it's your nutritional insurance. I love it, and I know that you will too. What's the worst brain you've ever seen? You don't need to tell me whose.
Was a girl who had a lack of oxygen for about 10 minutes. So it's like she died. And when they revived her, your brain is the most oxygen hungry organ in the body. And it was awful. And I've seen Alzheimer's brains. They're often terrible. Sometimes brains with infections.
Best way to slow down Alzheimer's or dementia, are they the same?
Yeah. So Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. Dementia is the umbrella category.
Got it.
And Alzheimer's is one of the types. It starts in your brain decades before you have any symptoms. So I diagnosed one woman at 59. Odds are she had negative changes in her brain in her 20s. And so you want to be as serious about brain health as soon as you can. You don't want to wait until you're 70 and losing your memory. So be serious early. And then I didn't finish the Bright Minds. You know, we talked about blood flow, retirement and aging, inflammation, genetics, head trauma. That's often a major cause of psychiatric problems. Toxins, we talked a little bit about alcohol and marijuana, but mold or heavy metals or general anesthesia can all be toxic. Or the products you put on your body, because whatever goes on your body goes in your body. So for 50 years I shaved with Barbasol. And I like this app. I think I probably told you to download it, Think Dirty. Because then you can scan all of your purse. It's not what people think it is. You can scan
It's not,
your,
you don't have like an OnlyFans?
No.
Okay.
You can scan your personal products. It'll tell you on a scale of 0 to 10 how quickly they're killing you. So 0 is live a long time. 10 is die early. And so I've shaved with Barbasol. So I scanned it, and it's a 9, die early. So now I shave with something called Kiss My Face, which is a 2. And it's not more expensive because it lasts like 100 times longer.
That's so cool.
The M is mental health stuff, especially adverse childhood experiences. Doing a big study on that now. On a scale of 0 to 10, how many bad things happened to you when you were a child? And people who score 4 or more have an increased risk of 7 of the top 10 leading causes of death. People who score 6 or more die 20 years early. And so dealing with childhood trauma is really important.
Because they don't love their brain.
Well, what happens when you grow up in trauma is your brain becomes more heightened to negativity. And when we actually looked at how they read faces, they don't see happy faces. What they
Right.
see is sad faces and disgusting faces and angry faces. So the world becomes a much more dangerous place for them. So their level of chronic stress is high.
They live in a hostile universe, not a
Right.
friendly one. So, personality disorders like borderline or narcissistic personality disorder, is that how much of that is nature, nurture? Is it trauma? Is it.
It's always both,
Yeah.
right? It's what happened to you and the brain that you have, right? It's also the level, there's this concept I'm not sure we ever talked about called brain reserve.
Mhm.
How much extra tissue do you have to deal with whatever stress comes your way?
Mm.
And so if your mom ate right when she was pregnant with you, if she wasn't under a lot of stress or had a lot of viruses, you have a lot of reserve. And then if she feeds you right and loves you and nurtures you, it's always growing your reserve.
Mhm.
But if she didn't want you, if she's drinking or using drugs when she's pregnant with you, you don't have nearly as much reserve. Because if you think about it, take two people, put them in the same car accident. One of them walks away okay, the other one's permanently damaged. Why? Depends on the health, the brain health they brought into the accident. So
Okay.
we always want to
Wow.
boost brain reserve. And you do that through love your brain, avoid things that hurt it, do things that help it.
Is ADHD forever?
For some people, and medicine is sort of like glasses for them. For other people, there are clearly things they do to make it worse. Alcohol, marijuana, not sleeping, bad food. And there are clearly things you can do to make it better, right? Avoiding toxins, sleeping, omega-3 fatty acids, and some other nutrients can be really helpful.
Mm. Do you think there's benefits to having any sort of neurodiverse brain?
Well, I think some of our most creative, innovative people, think Elon Musk, who said on Saturday Night Live that he had autism, or Bill Gates, or Terry Bradshaw, or, you can name so many people who were not neurotypical. If your frontal lobes are sleepy, often goes with ADD, you tend to be much more creative, right? When your frontal lobes are busy, you're real rule bound. It's like love rules. Rules are important. And
So I'm sleepy, you're more rules.
you are sleepy. Mine's sort of in the middle.
What's up with your brain? What's up with your brain? I'm sure you scanned your own brain.
11 times.
What? And is it changing all the time? Are you happy with it? What? Can you tell me about your brain? Tell me
It
about your
wasn't
brain.
healthy when I first did it. So
What was wrong with it?
1991, I started doing imaging and I loved it and I scanned everybody I knew and I scanned my mom.
Okay.
She was 60 and her brain was stunningly beautiful.
Mm.
And I was jealous because it was way better than mine. And that's where I developed this term, brain envy. I wanted her brain. And her brain reflected her life. She's got 7 children, 50 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the most consistent, reliable, loving person on the planet.
Wow.
I'm like, Mom, I got 5 friends visiting from overseas.
Yeah.
Can we come over for dinner? She's like, of course. And she'd just tell me what to get at the store. And then she'd cook for
love
everybody.
Yeah.
But mine wasn't healthy. Why? I played football in high school. And I had meningitis twice as a young soldier. And I had bad habits. Like I thought I was special because I could get by on 4 hours of sleep at night. Then I realized I'm not special. I'm stupid. And so when I learned to love my brain and care for it, 25 years later, fuller, fatter, healthier, and my brain literally aged backwards. Now that makes me happy
Wow.
because you're not stuck with the brain you have. You can make it better. Well, how exciting.
That is
that?
exciting. But wait, because you're freaking me out. You're freaking me out. You're really freaking me out. You're freaking me out about the dementia that you can have it like in your 20s and not even know. Can you reverse that then?
Yes.
Yes?
How exciting. Plus, when I scanned you, I didn't go, you're vulnerable to dementia.
Really? Because
You would have remembered that.
well, I have this fear because my memory is not the greatest. And truthfully, I could be doing more brain exercises. I could be reading more books, and I need to do that. But I think it's just a fear of mine, and my dad has it. And so
And that's one of the risk factors.
just want to do whatever I can.
Right, so that's that G, the genetics part. Know your vulnerability and every day of your life to be on an Alzheimer's prevention program.
That.
Right? Because I'm going to be 70 next year, and I've seen way too many 70-year-old brains to know that is not a good thing for the brain. Right? The older you get, the less activity there is, unless you're serious about it. And I'm really serious.
Oh, I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. Wait, what were we talking about before that? I interrupted you.
So we were talking about getting dementia.
Yes, but then before that, your brain. So then it improved.
So it improves over time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had my telomeres tested. Telomeres are the end caps of your genes. And as you age, they tend to unravel. And I had them tested when I was 63, but I had the age of a 43-year-old. So I thought that was pretty good.
That's incredible.
It just keeps me dedicated, right? And I had some people go, I'm 60, I don't want to worry about this anymore. And I'm like, you only don't want to worry about it if you don't want to keep your brain.
When was the moment that you decided you wanted to start scanning brains, and what compelled you to do that?
So when I was 18, Vietnam was going on, and I became an infantry medic, and I loved that. But about a year into it, I realized I didn't like being shot at. So I got retrained as an X-ray technician. It wasn't my thing. Some people like it. Like some people run toward fires, and some people like me go, it's hot, run away from the fire.
Yeah.
And when I became an X-ray technician, I developed a passion for imaging. And then I got out of the Army, went to medical school, went to college medical school, and I'm a second-year medical student, and somebody I love tries to kill herself. And I took her to see a wonderful psychiatrist, and I came to realize if he helped her, which he did, it wouldn't just help her. That ultimately it would help her children and her grandchildren as they'll be shaped by someone who is happier and more stable. So it was 44 years ago I fell in love with psychiatry, and I've loved it every day since.
Wow.
But I fell in love with the only medical specialty that never looks at the organ it treats. And even then, I knew it was wrong, and I knew it would change. I just had no idea I'd be part of the change.
Wow.
But if you don't look, you don't know, right? I mean, I can make a diagnosis by what you tell me.
Yeah.
But that's stupid,
Yeah.
right? What other medical doctor does that?
Yeah. Totally.
They look at your heart, or they look at your belly, or they look at your bones, and psychiatrists should be looking at the brain.
When you put it like that, I mean, I can't imagine just going and saying, oh, my heart feels weird. Yeah, you probably have congestive heart failure.
Right. Let's give you
What?
these drugs and stay on them for the rest of your life.
So what's your favorite organ?
My brain. Your brain is
Really?
the biggest sex organ in the body.
Wait, what?
Your brain is the biggest sex organ in the body.
Right,
If there's
right.
no forethought,
Yeah.
there's no foreplay.
Yeah. Really? So healthier brain, healthier sex?
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Well, and I mentioned before, if you have erectile dysfunction, it means you have low blood flow in your brain. And 40% of 40-year-olds have erectile dysfunction. 70% of 70-year-olds have erectile dysfunction, which means 40% of 40-year-olds and 70% of 70-year-olds have brain dysfunction because they're connected. And the thing I love when I get a guy on our brain health program is love life gets better.
I love that. Is there like this is the healthiest food for your brain, hands down?
Blueberries.
Blueberries?
Blueberries.
Organic.
Organic.
And what about the least healthy food for your brain?
Sugar.
Sugar. Really? Do you have any sugar?
No.
Not refined?
No.
But obviously fruits and naturally occurring fruit.
Some.
Or sugar.
Not
is fine.
much.
Not much.
Yeah.
What's the healthiest brain that you've ever seen?
Besides my mom.
Yeah.
Nancy. She's from Oxford, England.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in this clinic. I have 11 clinics now, but in this clinic, my clinic director texted me, because you have to see Nancy. And I was busy and I'm pushing back. And she's like, stop it. You have to see her. She's 83 years old. She's from Oxford, England. She read your book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life, which got in a used bookstore for 50 cents. You have to talk to her. And when I talked to her, she said when she was 80, she was obese, depressed, thought her life was over, and then found my book in a used bookstore for 50 cents. She had chronic pain. And she let it lay around the house for a year. And then when she read it, she said she was riveted. Love that as an author. And she said, but there are too many things to do. So I just did one thing at once. So I wrote down all the things to do. But I just started by drinking more water. And she was a couch potato.
This is at 80, right?
80.
Okay.
81. So now she's 81. So she starts drinking more water. And she said, I had to pee. So I got off the couch, so which I thought was hysterical. And she said, but I felt better because more water. Your brain is 80% water, so your body is 70% water, but your brain is special. And then I started taking supplements, multiple vitamin, fish oil, extra vitamin D. She said, and I felt better still. So then I started to walk. And then I started to play ping pong. And then I started to play tennis. So she's exercising. And then she changed her diet. And then she got involved in new learning. And I'm listening to this. And I start to cry.
Yeah.
Because it's the reason I do what I do. And then she told me I lost 5 stones. I'm like, what's a stone? 14 pounds. She lost 70 pounds.
Wow.
She said I was like this. And now I'm not. And for her 83rd birthday present, she came to California and got a scan. She had a stunningly beautiful brain. And she cried. And she said, I knew last year wouldn't have looked like that. And she ended up changing her family. And
That's incredible. I got the tingles. Wow.
love her so much.
And just like that.
She's a brain warrior.
Right.
Yeah.
And at her age, if
It's never
Nancy can
too
do
late.
it, so can you. Right?
Right.
Because 80? They say like at 35, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but like I keep seeing that at 35, it becomes much harder to create new habits. Why is that? Is that true?
It's complete crap.
Is it just bullshit?
It's complete
But
crap.
it was in a TikTok video. You're telling me that's not true?
No, it's not true.
You're telling me to not believe every TikTok video? Let me just pull up some questions from the fans and then I'll get the hell out of here. My boyfriend uses cannabis and he says it helps him with ADHD. Is it true?
No.
Okay. And we already know.
It helps him with his anxiety, but he then becomes dependent on it. So his anxiety is worse, and he's not going to be more motivated, more creative, or more focused.
What are your thoughts on CBD?
Sometimes it helps. There's some research that shows it helps with seizures. Sometimes it can help with social anxiety, sometimes with pain. It's still relatively new, and so I'm always a fan of, well, let's see. It's sort of like the question, what do you think about mushrooms in psilocybin? And I feel like I've seen this party before. Like in the 80s, Valium was mommy's little helper. Now we know that benzos are addictive and they increase the risk of dementia. And in the 90s, it was alcohol's a health food, it's good for your heart, complete bullshit. It is
Now
not
it's
good
now
for
it's
your-
microdosing.
And then it became opiates. Pain is the fifth vital sign, and everybody should be on them. No, that caused a shit show. Marijuana is innocuous, and now everything is about microdosing. And I'm like, why don't we try the simple things first? Like, let's eat right and do diaphragmatic breathing and not believe every stupid thing you think.
And also the natural supplements that
And
are really
natural
effective.
supplements that can be helpful.
Saffron. But CBD is not mind altering necessarily.
It is mind altering,
Okay.
right? I mean, if it decreases social anxiety and decreases seizure frequency, it is mind altering.
Right.
Doesn't seem to have the negative cognitive effect, emotional effect as THC.
Interesting. But more will be revealed. When can we expect more research for girls with ADHD so it isn't as hard to get diagnosed?
Well, I think there's plenty of research on girls. But the question is a really good question because boys are diagnosed 5 times more than girls, but they don't have it 5 times more than girls. Because boys often have the negative behavior that brings negative attention to themselves.
Yeah.
They get diagnosed more frequently. Girls are often inattentive. And we still have pretty severe societal bias or gender bias against females. So if a little boy is having trouble, people go, he's going to have to take care of a family someday. Got to get him help. If a little girl is having trouble, we go, maybe she's not that smart, or hope she marries somebody nice, which is just not rational because if anything, women do way more than men
We really
in
do.
our society,
We
right?
really do.
90% two-parent working families, and women are still
Yes.
primary caretakers for the home and primary caretakers for children. And what we now have is 3 generations of tired women because of how fast they're running.
But no caffeine at all? But really none? Come on.
Caffeine is,
Let me have a cup.
if you need a cup, it means you're sleep deprived.
Okay.
Now, if you have 1 cup a day, it's no big deal. If you have 6, it's a problem.
2?
Are we negotiating?
2 cappuccinos, unsweetened almond milk. That's 4 shots of espresso. 1 in the morning, 1 in the
Sounds like a
afternoon.
lot. I'm trying to stimulate your brain.
We'll talk about this one later. Tips on cultivating discipline.
For yourself or your children?
It's just that, but I think she meant for herself.
Tiny habits. What are the small, like the ones we talked about? Today's going to be a great day. What went well today? Is this good for my brain or bad for it? Only love food that loves you back. Is you just have to start with 1,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do 1 and master.
Even,
it.
yeah, just the what went well. It's just such a simple discipline.
You do that for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
you'll always do it.
Yeah.
Because you'll notice the benefit for you.
Unless you're PMSing, then you might forget.
It's even more important.
No, I know. Because I have really good habits overall. I walk like I'm in a hurry. I do my gratitude and I eat really healthy and I drink a lot of water. And then this last week, sometimes you forget and you get self-destructive. And then I don't even take my supplements. What is that about? Because it doesn't matter. Nothing works. Nothing matters. That's scary.
And then it'll be okay.
Yeah, and now I feel great. I woke up and I'm like, today's a great day.
And I probably drew this graph for you when you and I first met. It's when people first come to see me, they're not doing well. That's why they come to see me. But, they have good days and bad days. And then we intervene and they get better.
Yes.
But nobody just gets better. They're better and then they're not. They're better and then not so much. Better, not so much. It's the not so much where you want to be curious, not furious, turn bad days into good data and go, so what's going on? And if it's my cycle, then maybe I need to see someone who can help me balance my hormones out just a bit. And saffron has been found in a couple of studies to help even out the mood stuff that goes with women's cycles.
Saffron.
Saffron.
But the be curious, not furious, that has saved me so many times. It's so effective because so often something doesn't go the way you want, or someone reacts or doesn't react the way you want, or whatever the thing is. And the instinct is to get angry. But I'm at the point where I'll stop myself and say, hold on, like, let's get curious, not furious. It's so effective.
So we haven't talked yet about the rule of 12.
Oh yes, tell me about that.
So I was gonna go to Europe and with my wife for her birthday, and I looked at her and I'm like, 12 things are gonna go wrong. I said, we're gonna count them. We're not gonna get upset until the 13th thing goes wrong. So we're just honoring shit happens. The world did not come into existence to just serve me.
Yeah.
Shit happens. And so, because I noticed this tendency to be more irritable when things didn't go my way. And I'm like, you're immature. It's like, no.
Right.
The most mentally strong, healthy people are flexible. They can roll with it. There's a saying I love, argue with reality, welcome to hell. And so the reality is shit happens. So we counted and 6 things went wrong, but we weren't upset at all.
Was it kind of fun to count it?
It was. But I moved recently. I lived in the same house for 15 years and we just recently moved. And the rule of 12 has become the rule of 120. So, like, we have to be more flexible.
How was the moving experience?
Oh, it was awful. It was just, everything went wrong. Not everything, but a lot of things went wrong. But ultimately, we'll fix them, and it'll all be okay.
What was the other gem you said? You said, stay curious, not furious, and it's...
Turn bad days into good data. Like if the kid's having a hard day, it's like, because you could yell at them, but that won't help. It's, so what did they eat?
Yeah.
Was there a difficult transition? What? Right? And you just sort of look through their day to look for clues. And, I didn't swing him before I went to bed. And that changed things for him.
But what do you do when you have really picky eaters? Like, they won't eat certain things, and they want the fries, or they want the... And then they're not going to...
They won't starve. I promise you. They
So it's kind of like it's
starve.
this or nothing?
Yeah. This is what mommy made for dinner. No, I'm not eating. Like, it's completely your choice.
Wow.
And they won't starve.
They won't starve.
And the more you do, the more you cater to them, the more entitled they become and the more unhappy they become. I cannot ever imagine what my mother would have done if I went, no, I'm not eating, make me something else.
Yeah.
Like, are you insane? Is probably what she would have said to me.
Wow.
But we've changed in a society where we're catering. And, they have to love it even if it's terrible for them.
Right.
And that's not a good message
No.
for them. It's like, you care about them. This is what you thought about it. This is what we're having for dinner. If you don't eat anything, you're not getting dessert.
Wow. Okay.
Plus, I'm not a fan of dessert anyway, so.
Yeah. There's healthy desserts.
There's healthy desserts. Brain healthy hot chocolate we talked about.
There you go. Banana almond butter.
Banana and almond butter is awesome.
Dried mangoes.
Too much sugar.
No! Really? Even without the added sugar in there?
It's too much sugar. Wish it wasn't, because I love them, but they don't love me.
Okay.
50% of the population is diabetic or pre-diabetic.
That's wild.
72% people are overweight. It's a big problem.
Huge. Anything else you want to leave my audience with?
Well, I'm just so grateful for you to help me share this message. I adore you, and I'm grateful to know you.
I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that I randomly looked at Miley Cyrus's live. She was just on Instagram Live, and I was watching it, and she was talking about you. No, she had you on. And I was like, I like that guy. Ooh, I like what he has to say. Slid in the DMs. Can you scan my brain? And that was like, what, 5 years ago?
Well, it was Miley Cyrus, it was right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes.
She called me up March 10th, I think, freaking out like everybody is about the pandemic. And then she goes, so I walked her back from the ledge, and she said, can you do this on Instagram with me tomorrow? And I'm like,
Whoa.
of course.
Whoa. No, because I knew you before I had Alfie, didn't I? I don't know.
I don't remember.
So, anything else? Anything else you want to say?
So the big lesson that I've learned is you can make your brain better next week, next month, next year. And the deeper you get into this, you end up with an extra 10 or even 20 years of cognitive clarity.
Yes.
So you're not a burden to the people you love.
I love that. And I do want to ask you one more thing, and then we'll end, I swear. But I had heard you say before that mental illness was almost trendy, and that people talk about what mental illnesses they have. And I don't want to say glamorize it, but what are your thoughts on that? And just saying, like, this is who I am. Like, I have borderline, and like, this is who I am. So I'm always going to be dangerously impulsive, and I'm always going to hurt the ones I love. Is that true?
No. And it's not a good way to think. I hate the term mental illness because it shames people. It's stigmatizing. And it's wrong. Get your brain healthy and your mind will follow. So that's why I wrote my book, The End of Mental Illness. And it's like, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to end mental illness? Mm-hmm. By creating a revolution in brain health. And I agree, there are a lot of celebrities who parade their mental illness. And it's like, well, why don't we just fix it? Let's get your brain healthy so you don't have to chronically hurt the people you love.
Well, it's just so exciting to know that it's fixable and there's things we can do. And they're not really that out there. So where can people find more guidance from you?
So they can go to Amen Clinics, so Amen like the last word in a prayer, clinics.com. Or they can follow me on Instagram at doc_Amen or on TikTok at docamen and learn more about, or get my new book, Change Your Brain Every Day, which is 366 short essays. I wrote it for all my ADD friends. 366 short essays on the most important things I've ever said. Just read a page a day.
Just read a page a day. Oh, I didn't tell you. Your book, You Happier? So it was on my nightstand of books that I want to read that I haven't yet read. And I was laying there the other month and I was feeling a bit sad and I grabbed You Happier. And sometimes I'll just do you ever take a book and then you'll close your eyes, pick a random page and pick a random paragraph and you're like, this is the paragraph that I'm gonna soak up? So I did that. I picked up the book, I opened it to a random page, closed my eyes, I'm like, this is the paragraph for you, Laura. I hit it with my finger and it's like, Laura has ADHD. Mm-hmm. You literally were writing about me. And I was like, oh my God, because I forgot that I was in it. You had called me and said, hey, can I write about you in my new book? And